Hey guys, this is Siegfried here, and today we'll be having a look at the enchantments. I've been playing this Indian server for over a week now, and I see that not many people are using the right enchantments for their heroes. I see them just use the default ones, or they copy the runes from the top players who play that hero. As you guys know, every game you change your build according to the opponent team composition, so you need to know that even the runes change in the same way. So I'll just go through the basics and explain what the runes do and which heroes are good with which runes and how you can use them to counter other heroes. Do bear in mind that this is just my opinion on runes, and don't quote me on this in the comment section saying that that rune is not good or this rune is not good. So yeah, let's get started. As you can see, we have four different kinds of enchantment pages, and each enchantment page is basically for a particular role or particular roles. This doesn't mean that that enchantment page is only used for those roles. Even other roles can use those enchantment pages if needed. So I'll just go through every rune there is and give you a brief idea on which heroes use which runes. So the first one is the Marksman and the Mage page. As you can see, we have three main enchantments. The first one is the Holy Summoner, which when you deal 3 auto attacks on enemy champion, you summon a fairy to help you deal more damage. The second one is Holy Thunder. This is basically the passive of Boomstick. And the last one is Sacred Protection, which gives you a shield whenever you take burst damage and you gain a magical lifesteal. Not every champion is compatible with every rune here. So let's say for this Holy Summoner, this is mainly used by marksmen like Telana's Wisp and Valheim, and even that new marksman called Laviel, who's in the codex right now. These people can abuse this runes very easily. If you try to use this on marksmen like Joker or Violet, you won't really feel the effect of it. So for Violet and Joker, you might want to use the second rune, which is Holy Thunder, because you deal that instant burst damage, which is what Violet and Joker are good at. Holy Thunder can also be used on most of the mages like Raz and Darcy, which helps them deal extra damage. This last one is very good against opponent assassins who try to burst you down very fast. This is basically a counter to assassin champions like Kriknak, Murad and Nakaroth, so that you don't die easily and can somehow counter them. After picking the main rune, you can see that there are sub runes inside that main rune. So depending on whether you are a marksman or a mage, you can either choose between dealing extra damage and receiving extra damage, or go with the mana regen item. This regen item is especially useful on mages. I don't really see the point of using Sacred Beat because you'll always be at cap of 40% whenever you use your item build properly on mages. And then coming to the next row, you have 16% crit chance. This is especially useful on champions like Violet and Wukong. So I'd recommend you guys take this always. And this next one is basically you gain flat armor or magic pierce depending on what type of damage you do. Coming to the next rune page, we have a rune page on warriors and assassins. Even in this rune page, we have three different kinds of runes. And the first one is the spread duel. So what this does is you can stack this rune for 10 times. So you get one stack for every ranged auto attack or ability, and two stacks for every melee auto attack or ability. And when you reach 10 stacks, you receive a percentage of your HP lost, and you receive armor pierce and magic pierce. This rune goes well with champions like Zephyrus and Omen who like to dive into your team, and it can help them survive their team fights a little longer so that your team can your team can back you up. The next one is Curse of Death. This rune lets you stack 3 times, and upon stacking 3 times it inflicts damage on the opponents. Champions like Lindis, Murad and Kira can instantly proc this, which is why it is very useful on them. I'd recommend you always take this on them. And the last one is Devil's Awakening. This is one of the most popular runes because it reduces cooldown of your other abilities whenever you use your ultimate, and also gives you damage reduction. So champions like Florentino and Zuka will always use this because they can have 2 rounds of the spells ready whenever they're fighting. Coming to the sub runes, we have HP Regen 1. This is basically a triumph from League of Legends if you guys have played the game. So whenever you get a kill or assist, you restore a part of your missing HP and mana back. The next one is Shadow Blade. This is useful on most of the dash champions like Zuka, Murad, Nakaroth, and all those flashy heroes. Because whenever you dash, you gain a stack, and upon reaching 3 stacks, your next auto attack deals a lot of damage. This last one, I don't really find it useful on any champion. Maybe you can give it a try on Violet, but I don't really see it fit into any of the champions. Then we have a Deadly Claw, which is basically a flat increase in damage. So there's like a early game buff for any of your heroes. It's like a half a item or a one item in the early game. And the last one is Bone Cutter, which is you gain 10% resistance. I would say that you always take this over Deadly Claw, because having the 10% extra resistance will always help you if you haven't bought Gilded Greaves and you go for Ninja Tabi instead. I mean the armor boots item. Moving on to the support and tank section, we have 3 more main runes. I prefer the second one and the third one over the first rune, because the first one is only useful on limited heroes such as Zip, because Zip has a stun which is basically a poke, and whenever he pokes he does extra damage. None of the other tanky support heroes have a ranged poke, so they can't really abuse this. Then we have the second one, which is Explosive Shield. This one in particular is very useful on champions like Thane, Aram and Baldam to survive. And how this works is, whenever you take damage, you add a stack, and upon reaching 20 stacks, you remove any crowd control effects on you and increase healing effects on yourself. So pair it up with the Thane, and him with passive basically cannot die, and it's actually very helpful in team fights so that you can soak up lots of damage and not die and help your team deal damage. This last one is actually not really helpful on tanks, but can be abused by a marksman as well. Some of the marksmen that can abuse this are basically Elendor and Hayate. I don't know how this works on Hayate and Elendor, but it's actually very broken on those 2 champions, so do give it a try. And coming to the sub runes, we have this HP HP stacking one, which is Nature's Gift. So whenever a minion or a monster dies near you, you gain extra HP, and this stacks up to 100 times. And you have a healing one, Regrowth, which is basically a healing rune. So any healing you do, you get additional healing from that healing. Then you have a speed up, a damage one, and a defense one. The speed up one is usually used on champions to roam between lanes. So if you take it on a support, you can roam between lanes faster through the river. This damage one, I don't think it is that useful on support heroes, but it can be used on some marksmen such as Lindus, because whenever you'll be using brushes very often. So whenever you come out of brush, you start dealing 2 damage to the opponent. So this is actually quite helpful for those heroes. This last one is also not really helpful on a tank, because you won't really stay under tower that often. So this one is useful on warriors who are in a counter matchup, such as Zuka playing against a Richter or something. You will always be under a tower, so if you take this, you won't really feel that much damage being put on you, and you can reduce the pressure by this. Finally, we have the most broken rune page there is in this entire list, which is League of Humans. So this rune page basically consists of 2 main runes, the Resurrect one and the Level Up one. So this Resurrect one, how that works is, you gain 2 charges when you enter a game, and you can use the charges anytime you want when you die, and instantly respawn at your base and then join the team fight again. It does have a cooldown of 100 to 310 seconds depending on what time of the game you are in. So the longer you are in a game, the more time it will take for it to come back up again, and you can only use it twice. So this was actually broken before this patch, because you could have used 3 charges of it, and now they nerfed it to only 2 charges. Still, most of the heroes like Zil, Murad and all can use this and help themselves get ahead. I don't really recommend you using this, because it's not really that good of a rune, because after 2 uses you'll be left with nothing to use. So use it wisely or not use it at all. The next one is a level up one. So you start the game at level 2 instead of level 1, Many supports can abuse this, because level 2 support, when everyone else is level 1, is actually pretty broken. Let's say you put it on an Aram or a Diochan and you walk into the enemy and you can stun them and freeze them, and you can basically kill their entire team at level 1. So you can try this out, but this needs a lot of communication with your team, because after that level 2 boost you'll be getting less XP in lane and in jungle until you reach level 8. So this requires lots of practice, and don't just blindly use this and think that you're not leveling up fast enough. Taking a look at the sub runes, we have minion kill and gunslinger. So minion kill is basically any ability or normal attacks against a minion which is less than 200 HP will instantly kill it. So any mage can use this to clear waves in the mid lane faster and start roaming. And gunslinger is any unique champion kill or assist will give you a stack, and each stack gives you bonus AD and AP. So you start with a stack at the start of the game, so you can basically have 6 stacks in a game. Then coming to the broken items which I was talking about, you have the orb, death sickle, and this one is basically cooldown reduction on your talent tree. Talent tree is basically your flicker, sprint and all that. So let's say your flicker is on a 120-second cooldown, so if you use this you'll have an additional 15% cooldown on that 120 seconds, so it'll reach around 100 seconds or something. Then you have death sickle. So at the start, not start of the game, at 3 minutes into the game you gain death sickle. So basically any damage that is gonna kill you, you can immune it and live. This only lasts till 6 minutes into match, so you have to either use it within 6 minutes or it'll disappear. So this was the nerf that made this rune useless right now, and everyone is taking the other alternative, which is the orb. So at 3 minutes into the game you gain a charge of orb. This basically makes you immune for 1.5 seconds, which is very useful for counter plays against enemy heroes which dive you, like Volkad at level 4 and all that stuff. So I highly recommend you use this rune on every champion out there. So yeah, that's it for the enchantments, I guess. You guys just need to try and mix and match all the enchantments to see which ones are viable for which champions, and you can try to make it meta if you can. And if you have any other suggestions or any other questions, do leave them in the comment section down below. Do subscribe to the channel if you like it, and I'll bring you with some more gameplay in the next video. That's it. Peace.